8 police officers in hospital.
Chaotic scene.
What is up, party people? Get ready to get your
minds blown.
Here with a new tutorial with your man, B-boy Sambo. So in this tutorial, we're gonna cover the flare, and the flare, for me personally, is a really, really important one because the flare will actually transform your body from the weak, non-B-boy version of yourself into the Kid Columbia version of yourself. Flare will have a major impact on your abilities in the future.
Back to the future!
So before starting out with a flare, make sure you can do a pretty good handstand. Make sure you have a good windmill. And if you don't know how to do these yet, then you can check them out in my other tutorials that you can find on my website or on my YouTube channel. So without wasting any time, let's just jump straight into this. So, your baby freeze and your windmill will obviously show you in what direction you're gonna have to do your flare. Because, of course, you wanna do your flare and your windmill and your head spin and your air flare. You wanna do all of that in the same direction.
Duh.
Unless you wanna do everything in both sides and you wanna be the ultimate Rambo of b-boying, be my guest. The only problem is that if you do a flare in one direction and your windmill in the other direction, you will have issues trying to combine these moves together. So this is where it starts out. If you do your baby freeze on your left hand, just like me, you're gonna swing with your left foot. And if you do your baby freeze on your right hand, then you're swinging with your right foot. So if you baby freeze on your left hand, just like me, you're gonna do everything that I do in this video in the same direction. But if you freeze on your right hand, you're gonna do everything that I do, but in the opposite direction. Just notice that the flare has a different go down than most of the other power moves, so don't get that all messed up. The flare go down is unique for the flare. Once you know your direction, you know how to get started. Start out with a big step to the side with your left foot so you can build up crazy momentum. As you can see, I'm preparing my left foot because I baby freeze on my left hand. Once you have made this step, place your left hand on the floor next to you. Now look very carefully how my leg will make the biggest circle ever. And I am talking about a big ass motherfucking circle. A lot of people are too busy thinking about like girls and money, so they often forget to
make the biggest motherfucking circle ever.
So why is this important? Because you want to build up a shitload of speed so you can really start flying. So when you are almost done swinging that circle, you have to kick up your right leg right before the two legs collide. Your timing has to be perfect. Once you try this a few times, it should look like this. You see the speed I'm building up and the way I'm kicking out? So when you practice this step, you should probably ask a friend. This is my main man, Erky, right here, who has crazy flares, by the way, and he's gonna help me out with this next exercise. Make sure your partner is on the side of the leg you're gonna kick up. So while he holds his hand up, my goal is actually to touch his hand while performing this first kick. So one more time from the top. Step open, make that circle, and then try and touch that hand. It's okay to fall on your behind as long as the previous steps are well executed. So now that the first kick has taken place, you are actually creating space for the first leg to continue that first circle we made. So if you got your shit right, the left leg is now making its way to the front to create a second kick. This leg has to kick in the complete opposite corner of the first kick. This is where the flare really starts to get difficult because for the first time, we're going to shift our weight onto the other hand. Try and do the full motion a few times in half speed because this is where your coordination will start to fail. So I have to add here that it's okay to do your flare and then just fall on your behind just to be able to practice the leg motion.
It's okay to suck.
So if you're starting to get the hang of this, you can ask your partner again for help. we're gonna do the exact same exercise, but this time we're gonna focus on that second kick. So make sure you make that circle, you do the first kick, and then your partner is gonna be standing on the opposite side so he can hold his hand out for you to touch with that second kick. Meanwhile, don't forget, you're placing your second hand on the floor. Now I know this moment is gonna be like really, really hard for you guys. So right now, all you need to do is focus. So after all of this hard work, it's time for finally an easy part, all right? This is very rare, all right, that you're gonna get an easy part in one of my tutorials. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna finish up that 360-degree rotation. And I have good news for you. When you finish 360 degrees rotation, that officially counts as one flare. So after placing that second hand, what you wanna do now is actually place your third hand in front of you. So you're gonna try and get both hands into the front of you while sliding over your feet and knees to get those legs to the back. If you manage to pass all the other steps before this last step should actually be really easy for you. To get to a second flare, it's basically gonna come down to sliding over those knees until you manage to get back into the kicks. This will set the motion for continuous flares. I highly recommend you actually practice this on socks so you can make the sliding easier for yourself. What's really important is that you do not, and I repeat, do not push off the floor with your legs while doing this. It's okay to touch the floor as long as you're sliding, because then you keep your weight on your hands. So after a few weeks, I really hope you manage to pull out 3 or 4 flares. Even though you might have complexes with your form, just don't forget you're already pushing 3 or 4 flares, which is not bad because most people don't even get that far. So now the trick is actually really, really simple. You actually want to play a numbers game. You just want to push on the numbers. For example, if I can do 3 flares, the first one will be kind of clean. If I can do up to 5 flares, then the first 2 will start looking really, really good. And if you can do 10 flares, then the first 3, 4, maybe even 5 will actually start looking good. So what you actually want to do now is you want to push the numbers so far as you can that the first flares start really looking good. So that means if you could push like 30 flares, the first 10 to 15 flares are going to look really, really good. Pros can do more than 50 flares. So that means they can push up to 30, maybe even 40 good looking flares. So this is actually what you want to do. You just want to keep pushing your numbers to get the cleanest flare you can get in the start. And it's actually kind of funny to actually watch somebody that's really good at flares doing his maximum, because I've seen like a b-boy do like 70, and when he was up to like 60 something, you could actually see what his flares used to look like when he just started out with breaking. So this is the game you have to play. You have to be really patient, and of course you have to be really consistent. The more you practice, the faster you'll learn. Get a really good warm-up, because the flares are really heavy on your wrists and on your groin. So if you start showing off with your friends and start doing flares out of nowhere, you're probably gonna injure yourself, and then obviously you're gonna slow down your progress. Make sure you practice with sweatpants and not shorts. Practicing flares with shorts will probably end up with your knees like bleeding and stuff, and you know, you could do without it. Another good thing is to know that if you're practicing with sweatpants that have like buttons and stuff like that, those could end up with like, you know, a little pain now and then if you smash your ankle against the floor. Just try and avoid, you know, buttons on your pants and stuff. The next one is also really important, is to be gentle with the flare. And what I mean by that is, I know you're gonna be pumped with adrenaline at practice and you're gonna be bashing your hands against the floor while doing the craziest flare ever, but that's actually not a smart way to train your flare. You wanna be gentle with the floor so you don't injure your wrists long term. Try not to practice on mats, because training your flares on mats will actually put more pressure onto your wrists, and you know, that's the first problem you're gonna get with your flares, that you're gonna have pain in your wrists. All right, so get the proper rest when needed, but yet try and practice as much as you can. So I hope you guys learned a lot from this tutorial. Don't forget to show this to your friends. And if you teach kids, show them this video. It's gonna help you a lot. For many other tutorials, just go and visit my website or just check out my YouTube channel for new videos and updates. Now let me just add this, that I absolutely don't care about likes or subscribers or thumbs up or the whole shebang. But YouTube does have me by the balls, because the more you guys react to all these videos, the more exposure it gets. So if you wanna help me out, you know, from brother to brother, from b-boy to b-boy,
you know,
from good guy to good guy, you know, you just hit them random comments like
X, Y, Y, Z.
enter, and then more, and then just hit some of those comments so we can get this video to the top, so we can get rid of all those crappy other tutorials there are out there.
alright?
Never quit, keep training, peace, and I'll see you in like 1 minute on my next tutorial. Peace.